One. Our next and final presenter for today is the founder of EOFire, an award-winning podcast featuring the most successful entrepreneurs 7 days a week. Now, he has interviewed over 1,400. I'm sure that number has moved by now. Over 1,400 entrepreneurs and has over 1 million monthly listens. I'm talking about the John Lee Dumas, aka JLD. Welcome, John Lee.
Yo, I am fired up to be here. You are right. That number is now over 1,800 successful entrepreneurs, and another one is added to that list every single day.
Amazing. And so no better person to talk about mastering productivity, discipline, and focus than you. JLD, I must tell you and let our viewers and attendees know that you are my mentor virtually. You know, I really do look up to you and what you're doing and what you've created, and you've made space for so many of us that are, you know, joining this virtual space, this online space, and you're so humble with all your accomplishments, and we truly appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Heneka. You know, I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. And if people are watching right now, and if you're saying, you know, man, maybe this audio is not perfect and maybe this video is not perfect, let me just tell you a little side story real quick. I was one of the many refugees who had to flee Puerto Rico in the oncoming storm of Hurricane Maria. I got out the second to last plane, and that island got absolutely devastated. So I'm on the move. I'm in a hotel room right now in Austin, Texas. My home was severely damaged, so I don't know when I'm going back. But you know what? The lesson here is the show must go on. You know, we are location independent entrepreneurs. We are lifestyle independent, and hopefully some of us will get to that financially independent stage, which I've been able to accomplish. Want people that are here watching this, you know, great summit to be accomplishing as well. So again, here I'm coming to you in Austin, Texas, on the best Wi-Fi that I could find in the Omni Hotel downtown here. So bear with us. I'm a refugee here. I'm doing my best, and I'm here for you guys today.
Yes, and that's so amazing, you know, that, you know, you've been going through all of that and, you know, fleeing your home and even going through some devastation, and you're still here. It speaks a lot to who you are as a person, who you are as an entrepreneur, and we even appreciate you even more. So we're going to get straight into it, JLD, and we're going to talk about mastering productivity, discipline, and focus. And so, first of all, you can kind of just give us a little insight into how you started and why you started the online business.
You know, for me, Heneka, the first 32 years of my life, I was always searching for something. You know, after college, I was in the military for 8 years as an officer, and, you know, that was a good experience. I learned a lot. That's where a lot of my discipline today comes from, is being an officer, leading men in war. I was in Iraq for 13 months. So a very intense time for, you know, a person in their young 20s to actually go through. But then after the military, I tried law school. I dropped out. I tried corporate finance. I quit. I tried commercial real estate. I had some success, a lot of failures, and I just wasn't finding my thing. And I realized the one thing that I was kind of missing was waking up every morning excited to do what I was going to do that day. I didn't have that. And for the first, again, 32 years of my life, I did not have that fire burning when I woke up. And I realized that it was the reason why I wasn't that happy with life, the reason why I wasn't that successful in life. So I decided to do something about it, and I quit that commercial real estate job, which was a really good job. And, you know, again, I had some successes there and I had some fun there, but I just knew it wasn't quite good enough for what I was looking for. And this is where I love to kind of drop a quote sometimes, and you know who you are out there. The good gets in the way of the great. And a lot of you have it good right now. You have it good. You're making a paycheck, like you're doing this, you're doing that. You know, your work doesn't suck, but it's not great either. And so you have those golden handcuffs. You're really good right now. But sadly, for a lot of us, that means that we'll never get to great. So I decided to give up the good and just go all in. And back in 2012, actually, Heneka, we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary yesterday. Back in 2012, I launched a daily podcast interviewing the world's most successful entrepreneurs. And a lot of people said it could not be done because I would run out of guests, I would run out of steam, I would run out of energy. But guess what? I knew that I was running out of steam and energy waking up every morning, doing something I didn't want to do. How hard could it be to wake up every day and have a great conversation with a great entrepreneur? To me, it didn't seem like it was going to be that difficult because I loved doing that. So what is it that you love doing? Guess what? It's not going to be that hard to get up and do that thing every single day. So Heneka, again, that was 5 years ago. That was 1,800 episodes ago. That was 55 million listens ago. And that was well over $11 million in revenue ago. So the business has been successful on every front. I still love to wake up in the morning and just share, my journey, my lessons learned, my failures, my mistakes, my successes, my wins. I do it all. This morning I was at a conference that Josh Sanson are throwing called Screw You Live. It's a great conference for entrepreneurs getting going. And then now in the afternoon, I get to come and talk to you and to your audience. And I mean, this is a Saturday, by the way. Like, I could be doing anything right now. And this is what I choose to do. And to me, that's exciting.
Amazing stats you've thrown out there. That's awesome. And you've been doing great. You've been doing excellent, beyond great. Now, you didn't get there overnight, and you didn't get there unintentionally. You had to be intentional about every single thing that you were doing. So now we need, I'm sorry, I normally have my master journal right beside me, but somehow I don't have it because I switched location. I wanted to show, but I can, we show it in the notes and stuff like that. But you have your master journal, which I'm a fan of. And now I just ordered my freedom journal. So I am kind of going ahead of you, and talking about the master journal and the freedom journal. No, because those are tools that help you to master discipline and focus and productivity that we need in order to succeed. Now, give us some insights, John, into just how we can become more productive, because so many of us have, we have all these many ideas. Ideas are a dime a dozen, but really we know it's in the execution. It's not about the idea. It's how dedicated we are, with the process, and how focused we are, and how we go about executing. So now you have these two amazing tools, which I'm a fan of. I need you now to share with our attendees how to become disciplined, productive, and focused.
Well, thank you, Heneka. I think one thing that we need to, as entrepreneurs, recognize first and foremost is what our strengths are, and also what our weaknesses are. We have to be realistic with ourselves. We have to live in a world of reality. So I personally know what my weaknesses are. The list is too long to talk about now. I have so many, but I also know what my strengths are. They're few, but they're mighty. And I am incredibly strong at being productive, disciplined, and focused. Those three categories right there, those three attributes, I am incredibly, incredibly strong at. And I have been since I launched my podcast back in 2012, because of the journey that's happened thus far, on my 32 years on the planet up to the day that I launched. And then now, as we're talking today, 37 years on the planet, 5 years into my business. So I knew that those are my three greatest strengths. And as I looked around my audience, Fire Nation, and other entrepreneurs, I saw that many people were weak in those areas. And frankly, you're never going to succeed, in my opinion, at the highest level as an entrepreneur if you're not strong in those three areas. You have to be productive on a day-to-day basis. You have to be disciplined, and you have to be focused. So again, I wasn't born with these skills, but over 32 years, I developed them through college, through the Army, through law school, through corporate finance, through commercial real estate. It brought me to this point where I was ready to be great at those three skills and apply them to entrepreneurship. So I wanted to give those tools, or the ability to acquire those tools, to other entrepreneurs, to my audience. So what I did was I sat down and I created the system. And that system turned into the Mastery Journal. And the tagline for the Mastery Journal is master productivity, discipline, and focus in 100 days. So in 100 days, you are going to master those three attributes. You are going to become strong in those three areas, no matter how weak you are. Now, let's kind of quickly go through those three things. Then if you want, Heneka, we can expound upon one, two, or all three of them. But quickly, let's talk about productivity. What does productivity mean to you? You should ask yourself that question. What does productivity mean to you? I give you my definition. Yours might be a little different, but hopefully it's similar to what are you producing on a daily basis that's moving your business forward. That is being productive. Guess what? A lot of people are busy all day long. They're doing email, social media, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They're being productive, but they're being productive in the wrong areas. You know, they're producing content, but they're producing content in the wrong areas. How are you being productive by producing the right content that's moving your life and your business forward? That's number one. Number two, discipline. And the core of that word, just like for productivity was produce, discipline is disciple. How are you becoming a disciple to a plan of action? That means you waking up in the morning with a plan of action and then being disciplined enough to execute that plan of action during that day. And then that last word is focus. And for me, I love the acronym for focus. Follow one course until success. Are you being focused with your day-to-day work, or are you allowing distractions to ruin your life? Is a bright, shiny object syndrome distracting you? Is your phone beeping right now? Is your browser flashing right now? Like, there's distractions everywhere. Is the TV on in the background right now? Guess what? You're not focused if any or all of those things are happening right now. When I focus, and again, I don't focus all day long, but when I focus for my focus session, I take all distractions away and I get that one core project done. And that's exactly what the Mastery Journal does for you. It trains you how to become disciplined, how to become productive, and how to be focused every single day. And then over the course of 100 days, when you follow the system, you master those 3 skills so that I can then set you off into the world and you can go and crush it and conquer.
And go flying. Right? Because I must confess, and I've confessed over and again, that I really suffer from, the ability to focus.
Because you're a human being.
Yeah.
Heneka, because you are a human being. I suffer. Everybody suffers. That's what it means to be a human being. We're supposed to be distracted because guess what? 60,000 years ago, if we didn't get distracted by that thing, then we got mauled by a saber-toothed tiger. Like, we are programmed to be distracted and look around and to spot movement. Like, that's what we are programmed to do. That's why in 2017 and beyond, you have to put parameters in place so that doesn't happen to you.
Amazing. Now, you can give us some tips, if you will, into not necessarily steps, whatever we want to call them, into mastering. Let's go on focus for this few minutes. Yeah.
So what I'm really passionate about, number one, is you establishing a morning routine. Now, a lot of people, they make a mistake with a morning routine. They say, you know what? I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to decide what my morning routine is going to be. Huge mistake. Because guess what? Again, you're a human being. Like, people that tell you they jump out of bed in the morning with a smile on their face and they're like running around, like singing and dancing, that's not true. I'm sorry. They're lying to you. I get 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night and I sleep really well. And I wake up and I'm not just jumping and skipping. I'm groggy. I'm tired. You want to rely on that person to decide what you're going to do for your morning routine that morning? Absolutely not. So that's why within the Mastery Journal, I really make you focus the day before. And one of your last tasks every day as you're wrapping your day up is to win tomorrow today. Now, how do you win tomorrow today? You establish your morning routine right now for tomorrow, not the tomorrow morning person that wakes up and has to make decisions that are going to be bad decisions. No, today, make the decision on what that morning routine is going to be. I typically do between 7 to 12 bullet points, whatever my morning wants to look like. I'll tell you there's some things that are always included there, which is meditation, journaling, exercise, right nutrition. I now have this dry sauna that I love and use. So now I have these certain things that are always part of my morning routine. Then, of course, a couple other things, like maybe it is, go take out the trash because the trash man is coming on the Tuesday. And you remember those little things because you're establishing that morning routine. You have the core, and then you have the couple other things that just happen every single day that are part of that morning routine. So now you focus the day before on winning tomorrow today by establishing your morning routine for tomorrow before you go to bed. So when you wake up, Heneka, you're going to be tired. You're going to be groggy. But guess what? You're just going to follow the morning routine that you've already established. And then before you know it, and as you start to kind of come out of your sleepy fog, you've already accomplished a ton because you've just followed those steps.
And you're so right about the morning routine. I find, like, because my Master Journal, my 100 days are over, right? So I need to start a new one. But I find like for those gap days, when I'm just trying to reestablish, the things that I'm going to be focusing on, whenever I don't do my morning routine the day before or include that the day before, I wake up and I feel so off center. Like I don't know what to do with myself, I
Me
find
too.
I find that it really works when I set it the day before. Now, one of the techniques that
And
is
again, Heneka, sorry to break
sure, that's
in, but
fine.
again, and I'm a master. I've mastered focus, and I still feel that way when I don't, master tomorrow. I don't win tomorrow today by doing that morning routine because again, it comes back to we're human beings. We are flawed, and that's okay. But now set up these parameters to make sure that you win.
Right, right. So I was alluding to the technique that is used by the journal, the master journal. It's the Podoma technique.
Yes.
Right. So you expound on that for us, please.
So there's actually a law that I want to talk about first
Sure.
that really leads into the Pomodoro technique. And that law is called Parkinson's law. And the definition of that law is that tasks will expand to the time allotted. Let me say that one more time. Tasks will expand to the time that you allot them. So if you don't allot time to a task, that task is going to take an infinite amount of time to accomplish. It just will. We're human beings again. But if you allot 2 hours to finish that task, guess what? Miraculously, you get that done in 2 hours. Like if I said, Heneka, by the way, you just want a plane ticket. I mean, you just want a trip, to Jamaica for the weekends. But your plane leaves in 2 hours. Guess what? You would get done what you need to get done in the next 2 hours, packing, doing all the things, plus all the work that you were going to do the rest of the day in those 2 hours because you would be in ultra focused, productive, disciplined mode and nothing would distract you. Nothing would. You would just get it done. So set those parameters for yourself, even if they have to be fake parameters, because you're not going to Jamaica in 2 hours. I'm sorry if I excited you, but you're not. But you suddenly set those parameters.
Here, so that's fine.
Exactly. That's why I use that example. So what I love about the actual Pomodoro technique, which leads from Parkinson's law, is if you understand that tasks expand to the time allotted, then you start using the Pomodoro technique. What the Pomodoro technique is, traditionally, it's 25 minutes, set a timer, start the timer, 25 minutes of pure focus, followed by 10 minutes of a forced refresh time. And what that refresh time means you're no longer focused. You're no longer just working on that task or project. You're giving yourself a break, your mind a break to breathe, to relax. And so what that does is that allows you to say, you know what, it's just 25 minutes. And I can just crush it for 25 minutes, knowing that I'm going to take a 10-minute break. If you told me, John, you have to sprint, for 100 yards, I could do it because I know in 100 yards I'm going to be done sprinting. But if you say, John, you need to sprint till I say stop, I'm going to be like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to sprint that fast because I know that I'm going to, maybe have to keep running for 200, 400 yards and then drop, down of exhaustion. So set those parameters up with that Pomodoro technique. A lot of people, again, traditionally is 25 and 10. I personally found that 25 minutes wasn't usually enough for me when I wanted to sit down and do a task. So my typical time is 42 minutes of focus and then 18 minutes of refresh. The key thing here that a lot of people try to skip, which is silly because it's such an easy step, but they try to skip the timing part. They're like, I'm just going to look at my clock and then in 42 minutes I'll stop. No, that doesn't work that way. You have to mentally press the start button, watch the first couple seconds, tick off that clock, get that consciously in there in your mind and subconsciously, and then go back to your work knowing you have that countdown timer that's going to be beeping in 42 minutes, in 25 minutes, in 30 minutes, however much time you decide to focus. And then honor that refresh time. A lot of people are like, I never have time to work out. What are you doing during your refresh time? Get down and give me 20 push-ups, go do pull-ups. You have a pull-up bar, do some yoga stretching, do anything that you want to do during that refresh time. Sometimes I go for a quick walk down my road just to get outside, have some fresh air and some sun, get out, do things, walk around the house, go say hi to somebody, whatever it might be. Make that happen during your refresh time. Take that break. Then you can get back into your room, get back into your focus zone and start that next focus session. So that Pomodoro technique is critical when it's followed to the letter and done correctly.
Mm-hmm. And, persons listening on, it probably seems, kind of, it doesn't work. But trust me, don't knock it until you've tried it because it does work. It does work.
It works.
It works.
And guess what? This is like to say too. How's that been working for you? By the way, for people that say, I don't think that's going to work for me. Well, how's not that, excuse me, how's not been doing that been working out for you? Because likely you're not where you want to be right now, because most people aren't. I'm not. I'm still working towards where I want to be, so I get it. But if it hasn't been working out for you, whatever you've been doing, maybe it's time for you to try something different.
Since I've started using that, somebody who follows me on social media, she called me one day and she says, what you're doing and the level at which you're going and stuff, it's amazing. It's fun to watch. And I said, yeah. She said she actually said she's coming by my house one day to just sit down and see how I plan my day out.
Job shadow time.
Yeah. So, it has worked for me. And persons, I've sent them the link. I really hope that they've tried it, because it really, really works. I can testify to that. Now, as we are about to wrap up, John, I would love to ask you to share your final thoughts as it relates to the whole mastering productivity, discipline, and focus.
So when it comes to mastering productivity, discipline, focus, believe me, it's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There's no straight line to success. There's no just continuous upward climb. I mean, we have setbacks all the time. I mean, again, not to go back to my situation, but I get knocked down all the time. I just had a hurricane almost knock my house down, blew out windows, like my house flooded out. Like, things happen in life. We're always going to get knocked back. We're always going to get knocked down, whether it be Mother Nature, whether it be work, whether it be a relationship, whatever it might be, health, like you're going to get knocked back. So just recognize it's 2 steps forward. You're going to get knocked back every now and then, but just remember, just get up the next day and follow the process. Like, one thing that I say all the time in the Freedom and Mastery Journal group, when people post about either their experience with the Freedom Journal or their experience with the Mastery Journal, is trust the process. And that's it. Just trust the process. And by the way, I'm only asking you for 100 days of your life to trust the process. And if it doesn't work out for you, then it doesn't work out for you, but at least you know now. And for people like Heneka, and now the over 30,000 people who have purchased a physical version of one of these journals, you're going to be able to tell for sure, like, what this is doing. I can tell you, when you get into that Facebook group, you see the success that a lot of people are having. And by the way, you see the struggles that they're having. Some people, fall off the wagon, and then they say, hey, I'm back on the wagon now. I don't know what happened. And we talk about it. We support each other. We guide each other. So, get that accountability group. Get that accountability group, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Sorry, Heneka. Because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And, you're hanging out with me and Heneka today. So, I mean, we're 2 pretty cool people. So, get out there, find some other people, find a process that like and trust, like the Freedom Journal, like the Mastery Journal, like some other process of somebody that you like, and just give it a try. Like, put that one foot in front of the other. Like with the Mastery Journal, again, you're going to win tomorrow today with that morning routine that you set up. And then after that, you're going to be grateful for something. I say, what is something that you are grateful for today? Let's start today with a mindset of abundance. Then we dive into those 4 focus sessions, which, by the way, aren't always back to back. And by the way, you sometimes maybe can only do 2, or maybe you do 3, and you have those refresh times as well. And then, of course, we like to look back over the day, what worked, what didn't. Let's reflect about the wins, about the losses, to get better. And then guess what? It's time to win tomorrow today again by putting tomorrow's morning routine there to absolutely crush it. So productivity, discipline, and focus, those are 3 strengths that you need to have as an entrepreneur. I've laid out the process in the Mastery Journal. Trust the process, try it out. And I'm just excited for people to make things happen, Heneka.
Yeah, so well said. So before I ask you how we can get the Mastering Freedom Journal, I just wanted to also add to what you said a while ago, because our conversation right now, so many things have happened to kind of throw us off, and we just had to stick to the process, because we were supposed to have our interviews before, and then of course you were in an era where there was no internet. I ran off television set to do the interview, and then now we're connected, and I wasn't feeling so well, and I was fine all along, and all of a sudden when it's time to do this chat, I'm not feeling so well, but here we are doing it. So we have to do what we have to do. And yes, life happens all the time. Life just happens. But how are we going to react to when life happens is the question. So you've said a lot, you've shared a lot, and you've left a lot of insight nuggets and stuff for peak performance community to grow. Now, you've excited them about the Freedom Journal, and in particular, the Master Journal. How do we get it?
So it's pretty simple. If you just head over to themasteryjournal.com or thefreedomjournal.com, you can check out more about what is going on over there. We have some great information about both of those journals. And, I kind of want to just end with, something that you were talking about, Heneka, is I have a million excuses why I wouldn't be doing this interview today. Literally, there's a million reasons why I could be doing something else. Again, I won't go through the destruction that I just went through and the devastation of Puerto Rico all over again, because you guys get it. We've talked about it, but there's a lot of reasons why I could use excuses not to be here today. There's a lot of excuses that Heneka could be using. She's not feeling well, X, Y, Z. There's just a lot of stuff. It's a Saturday. I mean, all these things. But you know what? Winners get stuff done. I committed to Heneka. I was going to make it happen, rain or shine or hurricane or tornado, whatever it might be. I was going to make it happen. We made it happen. Here I am. Here Heneka is. And now here you are. You didn't let any excuses get in the way of you consuming this content. Now, don't let any excuses get in the way of you actually trusting the process, making things happen. And again, guys, I have a lot of great stuff over at eofire.com. Links to both of the journals are right there. If you don't want to remember those other long URLs, eofire.com. And Heneka, it was awesome hanging out today.
It was indeed a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And all the very best to you.